Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're having a great day. I just finished listening to Big Bear's stream and it was very good as usual. So I hope you're all having a great day. I'm going to continue reading The Financial Matrix by Warren Woodward, and we're going into chapter 8 right now, talking about long-term duplication. Now that we have implemented long-term dreams for the future to break free from the financial matrix, and are using these long-term dreams to practice short-term denials, playing defense, we are ready to go on offense by utilizing long-term duplication. Before we get into the details of offense, let me ask you a question. If I owned Microsoft and offered to sell it to you for $100, would you buy it? How about ExxonMobil Corporation for $100? Finally, if I offered you Chipotle Mexican Grill for $100, would you be in? If you are anything like me, you would enthusiastically agree to all three bargains, even if you don't have any expertise or experience in the three businesses. Why? Well, because you, just like me, you don't care what business it is so long as it works and is legal, moral, and ethical. Business author Michael Gerber taught similarly when he explained that the key to a turnkey business system has less to do with what's done in a business and more to do with how it's done. The commodity isn't what's important. The way it's delivered is. In a similar fashion, life has created a turnkey marketing system for people to plug into and apply, and with time, the combination of defense and offense helps them escape the financial matrix by building a business asset. To be sure, in order to build a business asset and obtain financial freedom, one must move from the left side of the cash flow quadrant to the right side. However, quitting one's job or S business is risky and not feasible when starting for most people. Thus, the best plan to escape the financial matrix usually includes working on the left side of the quadrant to pay the bills and building the right side, B business, through creating leaders and a turnkey system for future dreams. This plan provides the security of a steady income on the left side, which provides time to develop the appropriate skills to create a B business system. Entrepreneurial risk, that is to say, is greatly reduced by leveraging the security of the left side quadrant while striving for the financial independence offered on the right side. In particular, Lori and I were looking for a business that leveraged the latest technologies and strategies to give ourselves the best opportunity to succeed in our own B business. When the co-founders created Life, we did so by tying into four important world trends. Home-based businesses, the internet, word-of-mouth marketing, and franchising. So he goes on here to talk a bit about home-based businesses. A home-based business was a necessity since Lori and I didn't have the financial wherewithal to invest in a bricks and mortar company. Indeed, the cost of rent, inventory, and employees takes most of a startup's revenue and leaves it on the edge of fiscal solvency. We knew our financial situation was tenuous enough without the additional expenses associated with a traditional business. The goal was to get out of debt, not go further into it, and only a home business model provided us with the opportunity to win or lose based upon our efforts. Moreover, there are legal tax deductions available to people who are building a home business that are not accessible to employees. A home-based business, in other words, permits the owner to write off legitimate business expenses while keeping overall expenses low by using the home and other assets he or she regularly utilizes anyway. This trend has leveled the entrepreneurial playing field and allows people to compete with hunger rather than with capital. Lori and I may have lacked capital, but we made up for it with our hunger and the benefits of building our business from home. I worked at a job during the day to pay our bills. Lori stayed at home to raise our family, and we both worked our home-based business at night to achieve our dreams. Okay, so the internet. There has never been a better time to start a home-based business because the internet has changed the rules of the game. Indeed, the bricks versus clicks revolution has made it possible for people to build a business from their home that generates more revenue than the largest Walmart store. Furthermore, by leveraging the internet, a home-based business can do this for a fraction of the cost of a traditional retail store. The internet allows people to offer products around the world from their home without having to have inventory tied up in each state, province, or country. This is a huge competitive advantage for small entrepreneurs over large corporations. Interestingly, although most people understand the internet has changed the rules of the game and have even purchased some products online themselves, few have learned how to create a profitable online business. Consequently, when people combine the benefits of an internet model and a home-based business, they have the benefits of left side quadrant security with right side quadrant opportunity, which is low cost, low risk, and high profit potential. This is the safest formula to follow for people who want to make the entrepreneurial leap to escape the financial matrix. Right, the next one was the word of mouth marketing. Life leverages word of mouth marketing to compound its growth. And so, for those of you who may not have listened to the previous videos that I've put here, this Life that he is referring to is the Life Leadership Company. He and his partner, Chris Brady, have started, I don't know whether you call it a direct marketing or a network marketing company. And so when he refers to life, that's what he's talking about. Life leverages word of mouth marketing to compound its growth. Instead of paying millions of dollars per year to advertise in print, radio, or TV, Life instead rewards people who recommend our products. This is a major competitive advantage. For example, authors Huba and McConnell proclaimed word of mouth is the valuable currency in today's advertising saturated world. Meanwhile, Nielsen Global Trust in advertising noted that 92% of respondents surveyed trusted recommendations received from friends about products and services. Last but not least, a recent McKinsey study identified word of mouth as the most effective form of marketing and advertising in the world. According to McKinsey's study, word of mouth marketing generates twice as much sales as paid advertising, and over 50% of all purchases are influenced by word of mouth. Indeed, the buzz generated by word of mouth marketing is vital to the growth of a company. And I think we can all actually identify with that, because how many times has any of us found a really great product or gone to a restaurant with like totally excellent service and good food and just highly recommended it to anybody that we were talking about going out to eat in a restaurant. So we know from experience there's been many times that we've sent friends of ours to different stores because they have a great deal or a great product, or it's the only place in town where you've been able to find that product. And so people who are looking for something, if you recommend, oh, go here, they have a great deal on it, or go here, it's the only place that I could find that has this product. We send our friends and family, we recommend different places. And so we know that it works. It's worked on us, and we've done it for our friends and family. So word of mouth, we know, really does. In the marketing world, it really does. And I know for myself, working in a plant nursery, gardeners are like very they network really effectively, because most communities that have a lot of gardeners in them, they all know each other, and they're always talking with each other, meeting up at markets and saying, oh, you can't get it here, well, go over to so-and-so store. And I know that the nursery that I work in, we get a lot of people sent our way because we have products nobody else in town carries. So word of mouth works. Okay, so because word of mouth marketing is so effective, Life built its entire marketing and advertising budget around it. We reward loyal customers and members who are effective in recommending our products to others. All word of mouth marketing can be boiled down to a 3-step process: discovery, Someone encounters a new idea. Wow, this person is convinced that the idea is worth sharing. And then the share. The person shares a new information with others. Once this process loop is started, the share stage for one person corresponds with the discovery stage of another one, and the word of mouth chain reaction is started. Seth Godin, author of Unleashing the Idea Virus, emphasized the importance of making it easy to share the product or company's message. How easy is it for an end user to spread this particular idea virus? Can I click one button or mention some magic phrase, or do I have to go through hoops and risk embarrassment to tell someone about it? All right, and so the next strategy is the franchising model. Finally, the most successful business in the world, the most successful businesses in the world follow a business format franchise model. Companies like McDonald's, Starbucks, and Jiffy Lube, to name just a few, have each built a predictable process to satisfy customer needs. Few people have built a successful business. Therefore, the turnkey system, designed by those who have the experience and results, is leveraged to allow average people to produce unaverage results. Michael Gerber explained how Ray Kroc, the pioneering genius of the turnkey business system, developed the original McDonald's system. Given the failure rate of most small businesses, he must have realized a crucial fact. For McDonald's to be a predictable success, the business would have to work, because the franchisee, left to his own devices, most assuredly wouldn't. Once he understood this, Ray Kroc's problem became his opportunity. Forced to create a business that worked in order to sell it, he also created a business that would work once it was sold, no matter who bought it. Armed with that realization, he set about the task of creating a foolproof, predictable business. A systems-dependent business, not a people-dependent business. A business that would work without him. In the same way, life set out to create a turnkey marketing system that would work for anyone who did the work of leveraging it. In other words, the entrepreneur does not have to be smart enough or work and invest in order to create the system, but he or she does have to be smart enough and work to leverage it. Life focuses on fulfilling Warren Buffett's 2 key points for financial success. You'll remember this by now. Eliminating debt at all costs and investing in self-education. By tapping into life's #1 selling product, the financial fitness program, people will learn the principles of financial defense, offense, and the playing field, which is the financial matrix. Furthermore, life has created a turnkey business operation that allows people to work on the left side of the cash flow quadrant to eliminate debt and then invest some of the savings to build a right side quadrant B business. At the same time, people will develop themselves and others by leveraging the turnkey life training marketing system. Life is the best of both worlds because it teaches people to leverage the defense and security of the left side and the offense and freedom of the right side to produce desired results. With time and effort, people can generate enough money in their B business to exit the left side entirely and enjoy their business asset while building I quadrant, the investment quadrant, investment income. This is a path to freedom from the financial matrix. So for those of you who are listening in who haven't listened to the previous chapters that I've read on this, when he's talking about the quadrant, the Life Leadership Program uses Robert Kiyosaki's quadrant, I forget what he calls it. My brain just went blank. But the financial quadrant model to illustrate how you can get out of being, in debt and not having access to another way of making money and making yourself financially free. So when he talks about the B business and the S business, that sort of thing. So on the quadrant, you have the E quadrant, which is, think of a square and then divide that square into 4 squares. So your top Your top left square is the E quadrant, which is the employee quadrant. That's you being an employee, and you have to rely on the income from that job. Below that, in the bottom left, is the S quadrant, and that is self-employment. So owning your own business, where you go there every day, you work the business. So that's a self-employed quadrant, and that's a little bit better than the E quadrant, except he goes in. If you go back and listen to some of the readings, it explains the drawbacks, the pros and cons of that. And the pros being that you have a little more control over your working life, but a little bit less time, because generally speaking, the business doesn't run unless you're there at the helm. And then he talks about the B business quadrant, which is on the right side of that square. At the top right cube is the B business, and that is a business system that will run itself. You don't have to be at the helm of it every day of your life and tied to the business for it to run itself. It utilizes a business system. And so he's talking here, this chapter here is basically talking about that sort of a system. You get a system working for you. And a lot of people don't realize, like he mentioned McDonald's and Starbucks and that sort of thing. All those franchises, those are all systems that are put into place. And it doesn't matter who owns that individual franchise. The system itself works whether that owner is there or not. It's set up in a very specific manner, and it runs itself. You can sell the business, you can keep the business, but it's going to run itself day and night if you wanted it to operate 24 hours a day. And so the system's already been developed. But for most franchises, we all know that there's very few of us who actually have the cash laying around to get into a franchise. Even a really small franchise is extremely expensive. Not only is it expensive to purchase, but there's yearly fees that you have to pay that are, some of these franchises, it's exorbitant. However, because the business system does work, they do bring in a lot of money and to offset all those expenses. So those are the types of systems he's talking about. And when he talks here about a home-based business, there are a number of different home-based businesses that utilize those systems, and they're much less expensive to get into. If you put in the effort, the time and effort to get it up and running, then it will work for you whether you're at the helm of it or not. So it'll, if you have, now he talks about, and Robert Kiyosaki talks about it as well, is network marketing. And I can remember years ago, I was introduced to network marketing through, I think it was a company called Shackley. And I was in college. I was in my early 20s then. And I can remember hearing, how they sit you down and they go over the marketing plan. And I thought, wow, this is a really great idea. Like, I really love the idea of network marketing. But back then, I'm in my 60s now, and back then, okay, we're talking 40 years ago, network marketing was just kind of finding a hold in the economic system. And at that time, there were companies like Shackley, Amway was really big then, and there were a few others. But people associated them with, and I'm not even sure why they associated them with pyramids, because technically they weren't. But anyway, I don't know where they ever got that reputation from. But as soon as the internet started being a big thing back in the late 90s, there were all that's where the pyramid scheme and scam things really took off. But the internet is regulated now to the point where those don't last very long. So it's really only the really good, stable network marketing companies that you can operate and you can run online. If you're smart, you'll find a really good network marketing company I shouldn't say if you're smart, but if you are not the type of person that is really good at networking, the internet is a really good option if you have a company that you can do that with. So that's network marketing is a really perfect example of this, and this is why I think Orrin Woodward talks about it as a home-based business. Well, he doesn't talk about network marketing per se in this book. He's talking about leveraging systems. And I use like franchising and network marketing as an example of it because they're both really good examples of how you can put those types of systems in place and leverage them to have a business that can run without you there at the helm 24/7. All right, so I'm just going to continue on here. The 3 C's for successful internet companies. When I heard Michael Dell speak at the Detroit Economics Club, he stated that any business that didn't get online within the next couple of years would be out of business. He used a model he called Direct from Dell, a catalog ordering system that cut out middlemen even before the internet was commercially available. As a result, he was one of the earliest online adopters. Later in his talk, he listed the 3 C's necessary to succeed online: content, commerce, and community. Chris Brady and I were there to hear this talk in late 1999. Today, we have built our entire business around being world class in these 3 areas. While some companies produce great informational products like Dave Ramsey, Tony Robbins, etc., and others, have innovative methods of commerce, Amazon, Alibaba, etc. And still others have loyal communities like Apple, Harley Davidson, etc. Only Life is building a business intersecting all 3 C's. First, Life begins with world-class informational content to help people escape the financial matrix that is second to none in the marketplace. Second, we married the products to a world-class commerce section with the best word-of-mouth marketing compensation. Finally, Life has assembled a leadership team with tens of thousands of enthusiastic, knowledgeable, and loyal members who represent the true product of our business, namely changing lives. In a dark world, Life's mission is to shine light into the darkness to help people see a way to escape from the bondage of debt. And I can testify to that actually because their financial educational products are like I've read Dave Ramsey and back in the day when Susie, whatever her name, Orman, I think it was on. Like I started reading a lot of that information back then, but this product is really well balanced, and it actually has helped me get out of debt, or well, I'm almost out of debt. So I can testify that they are really good products. And coming from a financial background, they do work. So that was the thing. That was where the rubber met the road for me was you can have all kinds of really great advice, but if you find it too hard to apply or you don't understand how to apply it, then you can read it all you want, but you need to be able to apply it to actually get the benefits of it. So when I found these guys, that their financial fitness program was really good that way. Anyway, being world class in any one of the 3 C's is impressive, but creating a business that is the intersection of world class performance in each of the 3 C's has really been done until now. Over the next decade, Life will become a household name in the financial, personal, and professional development field as it helps millions of people across the globe live debt-free and thousands more be job optional through building a B business bridge to escape the financial matrix. Not surprisingly, Life realized that few people are like the young Solomon who prayed for wisdom and had all other things added unto him. Instead, most are more pragmatic and seek answers to their financial challenges first. Of course, once Life proves the financial fitness program is effective in eliminating the debt that has trapped them, many of the people who experience a change in finances go on to seek long-term wisdom as well. People, as a result, are not just getting financially free, but are also gaining wisdom that sets them free in other areas of life. All right, and so then the next C, so 3 C's for success. The first one is content. The content side of an internet business is the website and the products available. As I've stated before, Life top product category is the Financial Fitness Suite of products and services. This program teaches people how to play successful defense, which means keeping the money you have and using it effectively to get out of debt and live below their means, while also giving them the guidelines and options of how to launch a financial offense. Moreover, and uniquely, it teaches customers about the financial matrix and the playing field they find themselves on. The beautiful thing about the Financial Fitness Suite of products is that it not only provides the information to help customers get out of debt, stay out of debt, and to then prosper financially, but it also offers the tools required to do so. This includes a free website for organizing one's financial goals, a financial fitness services subscription that provides aggregated coupons for saving money on everyday purchases, a mobile expense tracker to help customers accurately track where their money goes, credit monitoring, identity theft protection and insurance, computer virus protection, and prepaid legal services, including preparation of a free will and testament. So that's some of the content on their site. Finally, though, since Buffett said to invest in self-education, life provides an entire array of life-changing information for personal and professional development as well. But because finances seem to be the area in which the majority of people need the most urgent help, life usually concentrates on the financial area first in order to help people get some financial breathing room. And yeah, that's I really like the products that they have. He had mentioned here about the Financial Fitness Services subscription. I think I had mentioned this, and I love that subscription. It's got a debt reduction calculator. I had mentioned this a couple of times in some of the previous. And the debt reduction calculator, when you get the subscription, you just put in, you dig out all your bills and everything, all your expenses, and you plug all that stuff into this calculator. And with the interest rates, the monthly payment, the balance on that debt, yada, yada, yada. And then you can choose 3 options to get your debt paid down as quickly as possible. And I think one of the options I said was you take the smallest bill and you work at getting it paid off quickly, and then you just keep going the next smallest. So you take whatever your monthly payment was on the smallest, and once it's paid off, you roll that into the next smallest with that monthly payment and get that paid off quickly. And then you take the monthly payment from those 2 that you've already gotten rid of and you roll it onto the next one, and you can knock them all off that way really quickly. And then there's another way where you start with your highest interest debt. And so whatever the highest interest loan or credit card or whatever it is that you have, you start putting as much as you possibly can on that. And I think the way he explains it in that one, I can't remember because I didn't use that one. That one is, so you take your highest debt and you only pay the minimum on all your other debts, and then you take any extra that you would have put on the other things, but you slap it on the highest interest one every month until that highest interest one is gone. And then you take that payment that you were putting on it and roll it onto the next highest interest one. And that one actually is, I think it's the way to get out of debt the quickest, because your highest interest ones really accumulate a lot of interest that you're paying. And so it really does free up more cash more quickly than the other ways. But anyway, and then the third option for that financial services debt reduction is to use a combination of the 2. And it automatically, whichever one you choose, it automatically tells you which ones to pay down first, how much to pay on it, because you also poke in, or you input into the calculator how much you have to pay for, what your maximum is that you have to pay on your bills every month. And so it does automatic calculations for you. And so all you have to do is check in with it, every week or 2 when you're paying down your bills, and it tells you exactly what to pay on each bill as it comes due. And it really helps to knock your debt down really quickly. And while we're on that, I find now when I worked in the bank as well, I found that having a model or having a plan like that, this is like this financial services thing is like an online app that you can use, but you can also do a printout of it. And I find a lot of people are very visual. And so if you print out once you've got the plan, you choose whichever way you want to go, you can print that out and stick it to your fridge, and it really gives you that visual and reinforcement to help you keep on and not give up on that goal of getting debt free. And you'll find that once you have a little success, it's really encourages you and propels you on to doing even more. A lot of people who get in with this plan, they'll take on like a second part-time job just for a short period of time to really get a good handle and a good grip on paying off a couple of debts really quickly, right? Because then after you've got a couple paid off and you're not getting more debt to replace that, once you discipline yourself enough to, yes, I'm going to pay this debt off and that is that, it's really encouraging when you really take the steps and the action to make that goal a reality. And it really does snowball, and it will really snowball quickly once you get to a certain point. It may seem like, um, you know, especially if you've got like 40 or 50,000 bucks in credit card debt, and I know a lot of people do, and it just seems like you're never going to get rid of it. But if you gird up your loins, so to speak, and you decide to, you're just going to do it, then also decide that you're going to do whatever it takes to get yourself out of that situation. I think credit card debt is like, from working in the bank, I could see it's crippling. Credit card debt is a horrid thing. Um, and I know we all need credit cards, but you know what? If you're traveling, yes, you need a credit card to book a hotel room or to book a car, to rent a car. There are some things you do need to have a credit card for, but that doesn't mean that you always have to carry a balance on your credit card. Pay the darn thing off. Get those cards paid off, and then take your most valuable credit card, the one that gives you the most points or the one that has the lowest interest rate. You know, get rid of them all. You only need one credit card, and when you determine that you're going to get out of debt, it may be a hard thing to wrap your head around at first, but wrap your head around it, because if you don't, it's like shooting yourself in the foot. So when you make a decision to get out of debt, you have to get your plan in order, and you have to stick with it. You have to really be determined to reach the goal of getting debt free. And getting rid of those credit cards, oh my gosh, you will feel a ton of weight lift off your shoulders as you demolish the debt on each and every one of those. Now, the thing is too, and this is just a little tip for those of you who have determined you're going to get rid of it, or you're already working on getting rid of that debt. When you get a credit card paid off, um, cancel it. Don't just cut the card up. Actually cancel the account. Go into the bank and have them cancel it, or call up the credit card company and have it actually, the account, canceled. Then cut up the card and never get that credit again. And that's just get rid of the temptation, because you're going to go through hard times. There's going to be times when you are so tempted to go and use that credit card for something, because you've paid it off, right? There's no balance. And then that little voice inside your head says, oh, you can pay that off next month or whatever. No, don't give in to the temptation. Just don't do it. Once you've got it paid off, cut it up. Keep one credit card only for emergencies. If you want to live a debt-free life, that is going to have to be a pill you're going to have to swallow. All right, so anyway, I totally digressed there. All right, so that was the first C, content. And so if you're content, commerce, and community. So I'm going to stop there right now, and I'm going to go into the commerce and community tonight. I'm going to do another one of these tonight. I just wanted to, this went a little bit longer than I like to, but there's some really good advice. You'll notice here on the slideshow that I put a lot of Robert Kiyosaki quotes up there. And the reason I do that, I really admire him because he has a heart for people. Robert really is, from everything that I've read about him and seen from him, he has a heart for people. And I think that's where his great wealth has come from, is because he put people first. And you're going to find, like, one of these little slideshow things is that if you give people what they want, then you'll get what you want. And that is without even thinking about it. People are very loyal. And as Owen Benjamin has said many, many times, most people are good-hearted people. Most people are kind. They try to do the best they can. They like fairness. They like justice. They like to help their neighbors. And that's my experience as well. And so when you have a heart, a kind heart that's not looking to grabble people, that's not always looking for a way to get more money, when you truly have a spirit of helpfulness and kindness and thinking about the needs of others, you don't even have to think really about, where you're going to get something, because people are very giving and people reciprocate kindness. It's just part of I think it's part of that spirit that God puts in our hearts. It's that spark of divinity that each one of us has. And if we forget about the world per se and all of the crap that the world pushes on us, I think really that's what we really want to do, is to help other people. And when I first got on this path with this company, I've gone to one of their conferences, and I was just blown away by how much people just want to help, like full of great advice, asking how you are, just encouraging, and I was just kind of blown away, and all the good helpful tips in if I wanted to build a business, some good helpful tips on how to get started and to use this information to do that. I've mostly just been like in 2000. I mentioned before, in 2017, a friend of mine introduced me to this company, and at the time I was really, really excited about it, mostly because I had been working a little bit on trying to get out of debt. I had left my home in 2012 here in New Brunswick and traveled out west. And I was kind of destitute at the time. I couldn't find a job here. My oldest son was out in Calgary, and he kept saying, "Mom, come on out here. You can get a job out here." So I went out. I left everything here, packed everything up, put it in storage, and went out there. And I had a lot of debt because I had been out of work for like a year and a half, and it was just, I was destitute. And so my debt just kind of piled up. But when I got out there, I got a job and I started hacking away at it. I didn't, even though I'd worked in the bank, I knew how to budget well and I was good with my money, but I didn't really know the best way to get out of debt. And you'd think working in a bank and I think that was part of the problem. I was using the advice I was getting from my banker friends, which was not getting me out of debt. It was just kind of keeping me on a level, I guess. So when I got out there, I started actively looking one night for a good system to really get a handle on this so I could get rid of it quickly. And unbeknownst to me at the time, so I'm talking 2013, unbeknownst to me at the time, I'd come across this website that had this debt reduction system. And I thought, wow, I really love this idea. And so I started putting it in place for myself. I formatted a spreadsheet and started using the spreadsheet and was using the advice that I found on this website. Well, I didn't know it at the time, but it was this program that I was using because I'd never been introduced to this at that time. I just came across one of their independent marketers' websites where they had some really good advice, and they had this examples of these spreadsheets that you could do and how to use them to really get your debt knocked down really fast. So I started using it. And within a year, I could not even believe how much debt I had knocked off. It was just, and I was very determined and I was very methodical in following, like as soon as my paycheck came in, I sat down and I didn't spend a dime until I'd gone through every step in this program, right? And I only allowed myself, I think it was $100 every paycheck for spending. And there were sometimes I didn't even spend that $100, so I just put it in my savings account. So over the period of about a year, had probably 75% of my debt knocked off. And I was, well, actually not that year. It took 3 years. And I had 75%, almost, no, 80%. Yeah, 80% of my debt was knocked off. I had just was whacking every dime I made on that and only allowing myself a very small amount. So because I was boarding and so I didn't have a whole bunch of household debt at the time. So I was very fortunate that way. My kids were already grown up and I was boarding with my son, and so it worked out really well. But then when I came back to New Brunswick in 2016, one of my friends back here had said, have a look at this. This might be interesting. And I was like, no, I tried this network marketing stuff before and I'm not going there. I'm not doing it. I didn't even open her email. And then a year later, I got working with her in the nursery, in the plant nursery. And she was going to a meeting and I was like bored. I didn't have much of a life. And so I said, can I come with you? And so I went to a meeting, and it was one of the meetings for these this life leadership group. And the information they presented just kind of blew me away. And I was like, oh, this is that program. And so I went back to my computer and looked up the website, and it was like, oh my gosh, this is the same people. So it was like, for me, it was just like, oh, synchronicity is crazy. He was probably just laughing at me like, dummy. So, but anyway, well, he wouldn't be calling me a dummy, but maybe he would because I kind of was. But anyway, so I signed up for this financial fitness program because it kind of stalled out when I came back from out west, from Alberta. I kind of stalled out, and so I still had some debt. And that's what I'm kind of chopping away at right now. I still had a little bit of debt, but I kind of stalled out because I was unemployed, didn't have a whole lot of money coming in, and I kind of got off the plan. But a year ago, I got back on it and have been knocking off the last little bit. So anyway, when Robert Kiyosaki talks about network marketing, this company basically has that kind of a system in place, and it is a kind of like it's a turnkey business. You can join the company just for its products, which is what I had done because I really wanted to learn. There was so much that I discovered I did not know, even though I had worked in finance. And I really wanted to get educated. And one of the things that I just can't even believe, I just didn't have a clue about the money system itself. That is, the elites actually do a really good job of hiding what the actual money system, the financial matrix system is all about. And going to university, college, learning accounting, all that sort of thing, you're not taught it. When you work in the bank, you're not taught it. You have no idea really, unless you get into a program like this, you have no idea where money comes from, how it originates, and how the system works. And unless you know that, you're almost, you're dead in the water, really. You're defeated before you even get started. And so that's one of the reasons I really love this program, is because he tells you exactly everything that you need to know. Now, after I finish this book, I'm actually going to read you a little bit about the, he touched on it briefly at like in my first video, if you go back to the first one. He touches very briefly on what the financial matrix is. And I'm going to go into that a little bit more. Actually, I think he does have a chapter at the very end of this book about fractional reserve banking. That's really interesting. So hang on and keep listening to these. If this is the first one you've listened to, go back to the first and listen to them all. They're all about 20 minutes long. This one's running a bit longer, but anyway, go back and listen to them all to get kind of caught up on what this book is all about. Towards the end here, he's going to be going into a little bit more about the financial fitness program here, the Life Leadership Company. And personally, I have no issues with it. I have decided I'm going to try and build a business with it, just because the information is really, really valuable. And like I said, there's people who really need to hear it. And I don't care if anybody really joins this company through me or not, but the information is amazing and it's helpful. It gives you the kind of knowledge, and knowledge is power, really. So, and you can build this business pretty quickly as well if you're kind of a go-getter. I think I'm going to probably be trying a little bit harder to build it online, just because I'm not the kind of person that can pick up a phone and bug my family and friends about it, and they may or may not be interested. But I think online is a great way to reach people who are looking for this kind of information. So. All right, so the next one tonight is going to be on commerce. The 3 C's are content, commerce, and community. We've dealt a bit with content. When I do the next one, it'll be on commerce and community. And then there's a little story here about Claude and Lana Hamilton. I actually know Claude and Lana, and they are just an amazing couple. Claude isn't in this business anymore because he has severe health problems with his heart. And so he's been told to not be traveling and all that kind of stuff anymore. So, but they have an amazing story and just awesome people. All right, so that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you found value in it. And if you want to talk to me about any of this stuff, I'd love to talk to you. No worries there at all. You can go to my website, www.healthyandwell.ca, and my contact information is there. And also on my channel, if you look at the bottom of my channel, I have the links to my YouTube channel and to this Life Leadership company links if you want to buy any of the great books that they have, or I think they have this Financial Matrix book there too. So you can go there and have a look at what they have to offer. And yeah, so that's all for now. Peace out, and I'll see you on the next video.